Hey everyone, and welcome back.
Yeah, welcome back.
Today we're doing a deep dive on something that I think is on a lot of people's minds these days.
Oh, for sure.
And especially, I think, after the pandemic and everything, so many people are looking for a fresh start.
Absolutely.
A lot of people are looking to be more financially independent.
Yeah.
So we are going to be looking at Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki.
Great book.
It's a classic.
Yeah, a classic for sure.
Yeah.
I think what's so interesting about this book is that it's not just like a financial guide,
Yeah.
It's Kiyosaki using his own personal experiences
Right.
to sort of illustrate these two different mindsets about wealth, right?
It's like he had two dads.
He did. He had two
He
dads.
had his own father,
Yeah.
who he calls Poor Dad.
Right.
And then the father of his friend,
Yes.
who he calls Rich Dad.
His rich dad.
And he kind of compares and contrasts their approaches to money.
Their philosophies, yeah.
Yes.
Exactly. And I think that's what makes it so relatable for a lot of people, because it's not just like, here's the theory.
Right.
It's like, here's how these two different philosophies played out in real life.
Yeah, and I think in this deep dive, we're going to try to pull out like 10 powerful tips, right?
10 tips for success.
From the book that we can use kind of like a toolkit to build a better financial future, especially coming out of the pandemic.
Love it.
Right.
So let's jump right in.
Let's dive in.
So the book starts out by really contrasting these two mindsets, right?
Okay.
You have Poor Dad,
Yeah.
who represents kind of that traditional path, right?
Uh-huh.
Get a good education.
Get a job.
Get a secure job.
Yeah.
Work for a company.
Climb the ladder.
Yeah, exactly. Work your way up.
That was like the dream, right?
It was the safe route,
Especially before the pandemic.
especially before the pandemic, right?
And then,
And
yeah, because then the pandemic happened.
boom, everything got turned upside down.
Yeah, and so,
And it really challenged those assumptions for a lot of people, right?
yeah.
And I think that's where the rich dad philosophy comes in, right?
Okay, so Rich Dad, so his friend's dad,
Yeah, his friend's dad.
what did he do differently?
He was all about financial literacy,
Okay,
understanding how money works
okay,
and building assets, things that generate income.
okay.
So Kiyosaki's big takeaway from Rich Dad was the rich don't work for money.
Oh, I like that.
Money works for them.
That's what we all want.
Well, that's the dream,
Yeah.
right? But how do we get there?
That's the
That's what we're going to explore
Right.
with these 10 tips.
Yeah.
These 10 tips are going to give us a roadmap
I like that, a roadmap.
to get there.
Okay, so let's start with the first tip.
Let's start with tip number 1, and I think this is one of the most important ones.
Okay.
It's not about how much you earn, it's about how much you keep.
Oh, that's good.
Right.
I like that.
There's a really great quote from the book that really kind of illustrates this point.
Oh, I love a good quote.
Me too.
Let's hear it.
It says, "There is a difference between being poor and being broke.
Okay?
Broke is temporary.
Okay.
Poor is eternal."
Ooh.
So what that's saying is, even if you're facing financial challenges right now,
Like a lot of people are.
like so many of us are after the pandemic,
Yeah.
it's temporary if
Mhm.
we start learning how to manage our money wisely.
Right, so it's like a mindset shift.
It is. It's totally a mindset shift.
It's like shifting from scarcity
Yes.
to abundance in a way.
Exactly. From scarcity to abundance
Yeah.
and building long-term wealth.
Yeah.
So that's what tip number 1 is all about. Start saving and investing,
Yeah.
no matter how small the amount.
Right, you don't have to be rich to start.
Exactly. You can start small.
Yeah.
And over time, those small contributions
Yeah.
can grow significantly,
Especially if you start young.
especially if you start early. So even if you're feeling like, oh my gosh, I'm so financially squeezed right now,
Yeah.
try to find a tiny amount, just
Yeah.
a tiny amount to put aside
Every week.
every week, every month, whatever you can manage,
Yeah.
and make that a habit.
A habit.
And that leads us to the next big idea.
Okay, I'm ready for tip number 2.
Tip number 2, overcoming fear and greed.
Oh, okay.
Now, Rich Dad believed these two emotions, fear and greed, are at the root of most financial decisions.
They can really lead us astray.
They can totally lead us astray.
Yeah.
So think about it. After all the economic craziness we've been through,
Yeah.
especially with the pandemic,
Yeah.
it's easy to be paralyzed by fear. You're
Yeah.
afraid to invest. You're
Yeah.
afraid to take risks.
You're afraid to hope that
Yeah.
things will get better.
You're afraid to even dream about a better financial future.
Yeah.
Right?
Because what if it doesn't happen?
Exactly.
Yeah.
On the flip side,
Yeah.
greed can tempt us
Ooh.
into those get-rich-quick schemes
Right.
or spending impulsively.
Yeah. You think, oh, if I just buy this one thing.
It'll solve all my problems.
Yeah.
And
So So being aware of these emotions is like,
It's crucial.
yeah,
Take a step back.
take a breath.
Take a deep breath.
Yeah.
Assess the situation rationally.
Right.
And don't let fear or greed run the show.
Yeah.
They're not in charge.
You are.
You are in charge of your financial future.
Right.
Which brings us to
Oh,
tip number 3.
what is it?
And this is like the core of Kiyosaki's philosophy.
Okay.
The rich don't work for money.
Ooh, there it is again.
Say with me.
I love it.
They have money work for them.
It's so good.
Remember that core principle we talked about? Building assets.
Yeah.
Things that put money in your pocket.
Passive income.
Yes, passive income.
I love it.
Even while you're sleeping.
That's the dream.
It is the dream, but it's not just a dream.
It's attainable.
It's achievable.
Yeah.
And so how do you do that?
How? Give me some examples.
Think about it. You could have rental income from real estate.
Oh, yeah.
You could have a business that eventually runs itself.
So you don't have to be there every day.
Exactly.
You can work on it, not in it.
Yes, working on the business, not in the business.
Yeah.
You could even do something like create online courses.
Oh, yeah.
Sell them online.
That's totally passive.
Totally passive income.
Yeah, I like it.
So there are so many different options out there. It's about finding what works for you.
It's about getting creative.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, another thing that Kiyosaki really hammers home in the book is the importance of financial literacy.
Mm-hmm.
And he uses a really powerful historical example to illustrate this.
Oh, I love a good history lesson.
Me too, me too.
Okay, let's hear it.
So he talks about all these incredibly wealthy people
Okay.
who lost everything in the stock market crash of 1929.
Oh, wow.
These were titans of industry, captains of finance.
Right, they had it all.
Had it all, and then,
Gone.
boom, overnight it was gone.
It's like the Great Depression.
Exactly. It was a huge wake-up call for a lot of people.
And it makes you wonder, like, if these financial titans, these experts, weren't financially savvy enough to navigate that kind of crisis,
Right.
what hope is there for the rest of us?
Especially after what we've all been through with the pandemic.
Yeah.
It's a really sobering thought.
Yeah.
So that's why.
Yeah.
Tip number 4 is all about financial literacy.
Okay.
No matter how much money you make.
Yeah.
Understanding how money works, knowing the difference between good debt and bad debt.
Yes.
Making informed financial decisions.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
That's empowerment.
It is empowerment. It's taking control of your financial future.
I like that.
So, Rich Dad, Poor Dad isn't just about highlighting the problem.
Yeah.
It gives you a framework for building that knowledge.
Okay.
It's like a financial boot camp
I like that.
for anyone who's ready to take control of their money.
Awesome. I'm ready.
Are you ready for tip number 5?
Bring it on.
This is a really important one.
Okay.
This is about understanding the difference between assets and liabilities.
Okay, so assets versus liabilities.
Yes.
What's the difference?
Assets put money in your pocket.
Okay.
Liabilities take money out of your pocket.
Okay, I think I'm starting to get it.
So this is where a lot of people get tripped up.
Okay.
Because it's not always intuitive.
Like, what's an example?
Okay, so a lot of people think their house is an asset.
Yeah, that's what I always thought.
Right, and it can be,
Oh, but
but it's not always as straightforward as it seems.
okay.
Because if you have a mortgage,
Oh.
you're paying interest,
Right.
you're paying property taxes,
Uh-huh.
you're paying for maintenance.
Yeah.
All those expenses are taking money out of your pocket.
Right.
So a house, especially a house with a big mortgage,
Okay.
can actually be a liability.
Interesting.
And that's true
oh.
for anything you buy with debt.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
That brings us to tip number 6.
Okay. I see where you're going with this.
You got it. Understand your cash flow.
Yeah.
Where is your money coming from?
Yeah.
And where is it going?
Every dollar.
Every dollar. Track it.
Track it.
Kiyosaki has some great visuals in the book.
Oh, I love visuals.
Me too. They really make it click.
Yeah.
And they're on pages.
Okay, give me the pages so I can look them up later.
Pages 89,
Okay.
90, 92, and 93.
Got it. 89, 90, 92, 93.
And he shows you how money moves differently
Oh, cool.
for people who are building assets
Yeah.
versus people who are stuck in that cycle of debt.
Yeah.
It's amazing to see.
That's like a light bulb moment, right?
It is.
When you see it visually, it's like, oh, I need to be over there.
Exactly. You see it and you're like, okay, I need to change my cash flow.
Yeah.
And that leads us to tip number 7.
I'm loving these tips.
7 is all about financial education.
Okay.
Because financial intelligence isn't the same as academic or professional success.
Oh, that's interesting.
Right.
Yeah, because you can be really smart.
You can be a brilliant doctor or lawyer,
Yeah.
but still be clueless about money.
Yeah, that's scary.
Yeah, there's actually a quote from the book that really highlights this.
Oh, let's hear it.
He says, "A person can be highly educated, professionally successful, and financially illiterate."
Wow, that's like a punch in the gut.
It is. It was a wake-up call for me when I first read it.
It's kind of reassuring in a way, though, right?
It is.
Because it's like...
It means anyone can learn.
Right. Anyone can learn to be financially savvy.
Exactly. It doesn't matter what your background is.
That's not too late.
Never too late.
I like that.
So
tip number 7.
Tip number 7 is...
financial education.
Yes, keep learning.
Okay.
Don't just rely on what you learned in school or what your parents taught you.
Right, because times have changed.
Times have changed.
And also a lot of parents don't necessarily know.
Don't necessarily have.
The best financial advice.
Yeah, they weren't taught financial literacy.
Yeah.
So
keep learning.
Keep learning, be curious, ask questions.
Right.
And there are so many resources available these days.
Like what?
There are books, there are podcasts, there are online courses. You can learn from experts.
Right.
You can learn from other people's experiences.
And you can find a community.
Exactly. You can find a community of people who are on the same journey as you.
I love that.
So.
And speaking of challenging beliefs, Kiyosaki has a pretty controversial view on home ownership.
He does.
And this is where things get interesting.
This is where it gets juicy.
He argues that your house isn't always an asset.
Especially if you have a mortgage.
Oh, there's that mortgage again.
Yeah, that pesky mortgage.
Yeah.
So on page 105.
Okay, page 105. Write that down.
I got it. He lays out 5 points.
Oh.
Highlighting the potential downsides of owning a home.
Especially if you don't have...
without proper financial planning.
Yeah.
And it really goes against what we've always been told.
Yeah, because everyone says, you got to buy a house, you got to buy a house.
Right. It's the American dream.
Yeah.
But Kiyosaki's like...
hold on a sec.
He points out that home ownership can tie you down.
Okay.
Limit your financial flexibility.
Yeah.
And even drain your resources.
If you're not careful. Yeah. So tip number 9.
Tip number 9 is...
think carefully about home ownership.
Yes. Do your research.
Okay.
Understand the costs. And consider whether renting might actually be a better option for you. Especially in today's market.
Yeah, because the market is crazy right now.
It is.
Yeah.
So don't just blindly follow the crowd.
Right. Make an informed decision.
But an informed choice.
Yeah.
That aligns with your individual circumstances and goals.
Yeah, so it's not one size fits all.
Exactly.
Okay. Tip number 10.
Tip number 10 from Rich Dad, Poor Dad is all about motivation.
Okay.
Don't wait. Start now.
Just do it.
Kiyosaki really stresses
Yeah.
that anyone, regardless of their current financial situation, can turn things around.
Okay.
It's about changing your mindset,
Yes.
setting clear goals, and taking consistent action
I love it.
towards building that brighter financial future.
Yeah.
And he emphasizes that even small steps, taking consistently over time, can have a massive impact.
Okay.
He compares it to planting a seed.
Oh, I like that analogy.
Right.
Yeah.
It might seem small and insignificant at first.
Like a little tiny seed.
But with care and attention, it can grow into something magnificent.
A mighty oak.
A mighty oak, a beautiful garden.
Yeah.
So even if you're feeling overwhelmed right now or discouraged, remember, you have the power to change your story.
Yeah.
Start small, seek out knowledge, and never stop learning.
I love that.
These 10 tips, they're just the beginning.
The tip of the iceberg.
Exactly. We're going to explore even more powerful concepts.
Awesome.
And action steps from Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
I can't wait.
In the next part of our deep dive.
I'm excited.
So stay tuned.
We'll be right back. Welcome back to our deep dive into Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
It's good to be back.
You know, one of the things that I really loved about this book is how much it talks about mindset.
Oh, absolutely.
It's not just practical tips.
Yeah.
It's about really shifting your whole perspective on money and wealth.
Yeah, I think, especially after the pandemic, a lot of people are kind of reevaluating what's important.
Right.
And I think, Kiyosaki really argues that traditional education, it kind of trains us to be good employees, not necessarily entrepreneurs or investors.
You're working for the man.
Yeah, exactly.
Not for yourself.
Right. So part of achieving that financial independence is like retraining your brain.
Breaking free from that 9 to 5.
Yeah, break free from that employee mindset.
Which can be really scary.
It can be terrifying.
But also exhilarating.
It's liberating.
Yeah.
It's like you can learn new skills. You can take risks.
You can create your own opportunities.
Exactly. And I think especially in this world where things feel a lot less predictable after the pandemic.
Yeah. Nothing is guaranteed anymore.
No.
And it's really about taking ownership of your financial future.
Yeah. And one of the ways that Kiyosaki suggests doing that is by working to learn, not just to earn.
Okay. So what does that mean?
So it's about, even if you're in a job that you don't love, thinking about what skills can I acquire from this?
Right.
That will help me down the line.
Yeah.
Maybe you're learning about marketing. Maybe you're learning about sales.
You're learning how to manage people.
Yeah, how to manage people, how to manage projects.
So you're always learning.
Always be learning.
And you can apply those skills later on.
Absolutely.
Okay, I like that.
It's all about investing in yourself.
Investing in yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
And he also suggests finding mentors.
Oh, that's a great idea.
People who are already successful in areas that you want to learn about.
It's like having your own personal board of advisors.
Exactly.
Yeah, so find someone who's already doing what you want to do.
Yeah.
And learn from them.
Pick their brain.
Yeah. Soak up that knowledge.
It's so valuable.
So it's really about being proactive.
Yes.
With your finances.
Not passive.
Not just sitting back and waiting for things to happen.
Exactly. You got to make it happen.
Take control.
And it all comes back to that core principle that we talked about.
What's that?
The rich don't work for money.
Yeah?
They have money work for them.
I love that.
Right.
It's so simple, but so profound.
Yeah, it's about building systems that generate income.
Even when you're not working.
Even when you're sleeping.
That's the dream.
That's the ultimate goal. But I know this might sound overwhelming.
It can be a lot to take in.
Especially if you're just starting out.
Yeah, you're like, where do I even begin?
Right. But remember what we said earlier. Start small.
Okay, yeah, baby steps.
Baby steps.
Okay.
So maybe you start by setting a budget.
Okay.
Maybe you open a savings account.
Yeah.
Maybe you read a book on investing.
Right.
These are all small.
Small but mighty.
But powerful steps
Yeah.
that you can take today.
And it's about consistency too, right?
Absolutely.
It's like brushing your teeth.
Yeah.
You do it every day.
You got to make it a habit.
Right.
And just like a tree needs sunlight and water.
Oh, yeah. I love that analogy of the seed.
Kiyosaki uses it a lot.
Yeah, it's like that tiny little seed can grow into this magnificent tree.
Exactly. And your financial success needs nurturing too.
Yeah, you can't just plant it and forget about it.
Right. You got to water it.
You got to give it sunlight.
You got to give it attention.
You got to prune it sometimes.
Yeah, you got to make sure it's growing in the right direction.
Yeah, and the financial landscape is always changing.
It is.
So you got to stay informed.
Yeah, stay up to date on what's happening.
And be willing to adapt.
Exactly.
Your strategies.
And that's where financial literacy comes in.
Right. It's like having the knowledge to make those informed decisions.
Exactly. You got to understand the fundamentals of money management, investing, wealth building.
It's a journey, right?
It's a lifelong journey.
Not a destination.
You never stop learning.
No.
So be curious. Ask questions.
Don't be afraid to make mistakes.
Embrace those mistakes.
Yeah.
Because that's how you learn.
Kiyosaki actually encourages readers.
He does.
To embrace failure.
Yes.
As a learning opportunity.
He says, failure is part of the process of success.
Oh.
People who avoid failure also avoid success.
Oh, I love that.
Right.
Yeah.
It's so powerful.
So it's like failure is not the opposite of success.
It's part of it.
It's a stepping stone.
Okay. I like that.
And I think that's so relevant to our world today.
Especially after the pandemic.
Especially after the pandemic where so many people had to pivot.
Had to readjust.
Had to kind of, change course.
Yeah.
And it's about developing that financial resilience.
Yeah. What is that?
That ability to bounce back.
From setbacks.
Yeah, for those challenges.
Those curveballs.
From the curveballs that life throws at you.
And keep moving forward.
Exactly.
And Rich Dad, Poor Dad really emphasizes cultivating that can-do attitude.
That belief that you can find solutions.
Yeah.
You can create opportunity.
No matter what.
No matter what.
Even in the face of adversity.
Especially in the face of adversity.
Yeah.
And I think that's so important.
Yeah.
For anyone who might be facing, financial difficulties.
Yeah, especially now.
In the wake of the pandemic.
It's like a shift.
It is.
From a victim mentality to one of empowerment. Exactly. Instead of saying this happened to me, it's like, okay, what can I do about it?
Control.
Take control, own your power.
Yeah.
And Rich Dad, Poor Dad really offers a roadmap for doing that, for becoming the architect
I like it.
of your own financial future.
Yeah.
And remember, you're not alone on this journey.
Right. We're all in this together.
We're all in this together.
Find your tribe.
Find your tribe. Find your support system.
Yeah.
Connect with mentors. Draw inspiration from others.
Who have been there.
Who have walked the path before you.
Yeah. Because there are so many stories.
There are countless stories.
Of people who have overcome financial adversity.
Yeah, and achieved incredible things.
And that gives me hope.
Me too. It's so inspiring.
Yeah.
And it reminds us that no matter how difficult things may seem right now, there's always hope.
There's always a way forward.
There's always a way forward.
Yeah. And I think Kiyosaki also talks about the power of belief.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, if you believe you can achieve financial freedom, you're more likely to make it happen.
We're going to take those actions.
Yeah, because you believe it's possible.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's not just positive thinking.
No.
It's about actually taking those steps.
It's about aligning your actions with your beliefs.
Okay, so it's like harnessing that power of positive thinking.
Yes.
But also taking action.
Take action. It's not enough to just dream about it.
You got to do it.
Got to put in the work.
Yeah, I love that.
So Rich Dad Poor Dad is really about having the courage to challenge the status quo, to question conventional wisdom.
Don't just do what everyone else is doing.
Exactly.
Think for yourself.
Think for yourself.
Yeah.
Create a financial future that truly reflects your values.
Your dreams.
Your aspirations. Because that's what financial freedom is all about, right?
It is.
It's about having the choices.
Having the options.
The resources.
The freedom to live life on your own terms.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I think in the final part of our deep dive, we're going to explore some specific strategies.
We are.
From Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Yes.
That you can start implementing today.
Actionable steps.
Yes.
That you can take right now.
To move closer to that goal.
To financial freedom.
Of financial independence.
Stay tuned.
All right, so we're back.
Back for round 3.
We've been talking all about Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Such a great book.
So many amazing insights.
So much wisdom.
But now I think it's time to get down to brass tacks.
Let's do it.
Let's talk about some actionable strategies.
Actionable steps.
Love it. From the book that you can start implementing.
Yes.
In your own life.
Like right now, today.
Starting today.
So one of the biggest takeaways for me was this whole idea of building your financial IQ.
Oh, yeah. It's like leveling up.
It's like a superpower.
In the game of money.
Right. It's like you're not just learning about money.
Right. You're not just memorizing terms. You're becoming smarter.
Yeah. You're understanding the underlying principles.
Yeah.
The rules of the game.
Yeah.
As Kiyosaki calls it.
Okay. So he breaks this down.
Yeah. He breaks it down.
Into 4 key areas.
4 key areas of financial intelligence.
Okay. Hit me.
Number 1, accounting.
Okay.
Accounting.
2, investing. 3, understanding markets.
Okay.
And 4, the law.
Okay, so that might sound a little bit intimidating.
It can be a little daunting.
But let's unpack it a little bit.
Let's break it down.
Okay, so accounting, in a nutshell.
In a nutshell.
It's about knowing where your money is going.
It is. It's about keeping track.
Writing every dollar.
Of your income and your expenses.
So it's about being aware.
Yes, awareness is key.
Okay.
Kiyosaki refers to it as financial literacy.
Okay.
It's the bedrock of everything else.
Okay, so if you don't know where your money is going.
Yeah, if you don't have a clear picture.
Then how can you make smart decisions about investing?
You can't.
Yeah, you're just shooting in the dark.
Yeah.
So you got to start with that foundation.
Okay, so then there's investing.
Yes.
Which can feel really intimidating.
It can feel like a whole other language.
Especially if you're new to it.
Absolutely.
Especially now.
Yeah.
After the pandemic.
With all the uncertainty in the market.
Yeah, so many people are like, I don't even know where to begin.
Yeah.
So what's the best way to approach it?
Well, what I really appreciate about Rich Dad, Poor Dad is that it really demystifies investing.
Okay.
Kiyosaki encourages readers to start small.
Okay.
Learn the basics of different investment options.
Don't try to do everything at once.
No, just start with one thing.
Okay.
And gradually build your portfolio over time.
So it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Exactly. Slow and steady wins the race.
I like that.
And he really emphasizes the importance of understanding risk and reward.
Okay, yeah. Because every investment has risks.
Right.
And you got to be comfortable with that.
Exactly.
So finding investments that align with your financial goals.
Yeah, your risk tolerance.
Your comfort level.
Absolutely. It's not about getting rich quick.
Right.
It's about building wealth
Right.
steadily and sustainably for the long term.
Like planting that seed.
Exactly, like planting that seed.
Watching it grow.
And the book provides so many different examples
Okay.
of different investment strategies.
Oh, cool.
So, from real estate to stocks to starting your own business, there's something for everyone.
So you can kind of pick and choose
Exactly
what resonates with you.
Find what aligns with your values, your interests, your goals, and what you're passionate about.
Okay, so then what about understanding markets?
Okay, so understanding markets.
What does that even mean?
It's about paying attention to what's happening
in the world.
Yeah, both locally and globally.
Okay.
So, reading financial news.
Staying informed.
Yes, staying informed.
So it's not a set it and forget it approach.
Yeah. No, you got to stay engaged.
You got to be paying attention.
You got to be aware of the trends.
And then the law.
The law.
This is where it gets a little bit tricky.
It can be a little complex.
Yeah, but it's important.
It is. It's about understanding the legal and tax implications.
Of everything.
Of running a business.
Of managing your money.
And the good news is, you don't have to be a lawyer to figure this out.
Exactly.
You can work with professionals.
Yes. Find yourself a good lawyer.
An accountant.
A financial advisor.
People who can guide you.
People who know the rules.
Yeah, and make sure you're doing everything by the book.
Exactly.
So that's financial IQ.
Yes.
But Rich Dad, Poor Dad also stresses taking action.
Action, action, action.
Putting that knowledge to work.
It's not enough to just read the book.
Right. You got to actually do something.
I got to put it into practice.
So one of the key action steps is overcoming your fear of failure.
Oh, yeah. That's a big one. Because I think so many people are paralyzed.
Yeah. They're afraid to make a mistake.
They're afraid to lose money.
They're afraid to be judged.
And Kiyosaki's like, no, you got to embrace that fear.
Yeah, he actually encourages readers to seek out opportunities.
That push you outside your comfort zone.
Yes, get uncomfortable.
Yeah, because that's where the growth happens.
That's where the magic happens.
Okay, so don't be afraid to fail.
Embrace the possibility of failure.
Because it's part of the process.
It's a learning experience.
Okay, I like that.
So another key action step is setting clear financial goals.
Okay, so define what financial freedom looks like.
For you.
For you personally.
Yeah. Because it's different for everyone.
So is it buying a house?
Is it starting a business?
Is it retiring early?
Is it traveling the world?
Whatever it is for you.
Yeah, write it down.
Make it specific.
Make it tangible.
And then break it down.
Yes, break those big goals down.
Into smaller steps.
Into bite-sized pieces.
That you can actually achieve.
Exactly.
Create a plan.
Your roadmap to get there.
And hold yourself accountable.
Yes.
Track your progress.
Celebrate your wins.
Yes, celebrate those milestones.
And Kiyosaki also talks about the power of visualization.
Oh, yeah. Visualization is huge.
It's like picturing yourself.
Yeah.
Achieving those goals.
Seeing it in your mind's eye.
And using that vision to fuel your motivation.
To keep you going.
Okay, so it's not just about the practical steps.
Yeah.
It's also about the mindset.
It's about the belief.
Yeah.
And the vision.
And finally, Rich Dad, Poor Dad encourages readers to build a strong support network.
Yes, find your tribe.
Kiyosaki calls it creating your network of success.
Yes, surround yourself with people
who support you,
who inspire you,
who challenge you,
who believe in you.
Yeah, and that can be mentors,
advisors,
family members,
anyone who's on the same path as you.
Yeah, because you don't have to do this alone.
Absolutely not. We're all in this together. So there you have it.
That's it.
A roadmap
to financial freedom.
Inspired by the wisdom of Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Such a powerful book.
So we hope this deep dive has sparked your curiosity.
Challenged your assumptions.
And most importantly,
empowered you to take action.
Remember, financial freedom is a journey.
It is.
And it begins with a single step.
So start today.
Keep learning.
Never give up.
And never stop dreaming of a more abundant and fulfilling life.
That's it for this deep dive.
Thanks for joining us.